I'm Victor Blackwell in El Paso, Texas, outside of a massive crime scene here where 20 people were killed, 26 were injured. There's a lot happening here as this investigation is just beginning, but there has been another mass shooting. Christy, to you.
Yeah, I'm Christy Paul. Victor, thank you. We went to sleep with the news of those 20 people dead in El Paso. You are waking up now. I am so sorry to tell you, to 9 more people who've been killed in a second mass shooting, this time Dayton, Ohio. Between these two shootings, please absorb this. 29 people are dead. 42 people are injured in a 15-hour time span and 2 mass shootings. We're going to get back to Victor in a moment, but want to get you the very latest on what's happening in Dayton right now. The assistant police chief there giving us an update just a short while ago on this overnight shooting. Here it is.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Matt Carper, Assistant Chief of Police and Deputy Director of the Dayton Police Department. Just after 1 o'clock this morning, we had an active shooter situation in the Oregon District, part of our downtown area in the 400 block of East 5th Street. We had one shooter that we are aware of and multiple victims. Right now, the shooter is deceased from gunshot wounds from the responding officers. We have 9 victims deceased in addition to that on East 5th Street, and we have approximately 16 more victims hospitalized right now in unknown conditions. Currently, we're working on identifying the suspect to see what the possible motivation might have been. We do not have that yet. Suspect was firing a long gun with multiple rounds at the victims. We are currently opening up the convention center, and in the convention center there will be resources, information for family members and friends if they have any questions about the status of anybody who might have been involved, or if they have information to provide. We have a dedicated phone line. I'll give you that number now. It's 225-6217, 225-6217. If anybody has information regarding this incident, or if they have questions about the status of their loved ones, please call that number. We currently have the FBI on scene. We are conducting the investigation. FBI is on scene as well to provide any necessary resources. Initially, we had obviously multiple jurisdictions responding to assist the Dayton Police Department in handling this incident. Fortunately, we had officers actually already on scene in the Oregon District providing patrol. This is a very safe part of downtown, and it's a very popular destination for visitors in the Oregon District. So we regularly have officers in the area. Fortunately, we had multiple officers in the immediate vicinity when this incident started. So there's a very short timeline of violence. For that, we're very fortunate. This is a very tragic incident, and we're doing everything we can to investigate it and try to identify the motivation behind this. With that, I can try to answer a few questions.
Do we know where this may have started? We heard it could have started around Ned Peppers. Can you give us?
Yeah, I can tell you. It started in the 400 block of East 5th Street, and this was all an exterior event. It was it all occurred outside.
Any description of the shooter you can share?
Not yet. The shooter is deceased, and we're still interviewing obviously a lot of witnesses as well as officers to try to determine if anybody else was involved.
What type of weapon was used?
It was a long gun.
And it was one shooter?
That we know of. That we know of right now. There's always a possibility that more people could have been involved, but that's what we're trying to identify right now.
Were any officers hurt during this?
No officers were injured.
What's the age range of the victims?
I can't tell you that right now. The coroner's office has a lot of resources on scene. Obviously, this is a very taxing event for resources, for the police department, the fire department, medics, coroner's office. But we have a lot of help from other agencies and organizations. Fire had mutual aid as well, so there were 21 medic units that responded to this incident.
Was it a Dayton police officer that took down the shooter?
Multiple Dayton police officers.
How much time elapsed between the time the shooting started and he was engaged by the officers?
I will be able to get you more information. We'll have a follow-up news briefing probably tomorrow. I can't give you an exact date and time, but it'll likely be late tomorrow where we can provide additional information. I can tell you this, it's a very short timeline of violence, very short.
And how long do you expect to be out on scene tonight?
Throughout the whole night and morning.
You said roughly 16 injured. Is that at least 16? As many as 16?
Yes, 9 dead, plus the suspects, so 10 dead on East 5th Street, and 16 that we are aware of hospitalized in unknown condition right now.
Jeff Likens, Dayton Fire Deputy Fire Chief. We have set up a family assistance center at the Dayton Convention Center. We'll give you a telephone number when we get that. That way family members can call to find out if their loved ones were involved and get a status of who's transported to which hospitals.
Is there any remaining threat to the public?
Not that we're aware of. The incident was resolved within a very short period of time, and the investigation will continue through the night, and we'll go wherever it leads us. Obviously, we're investigating the possibility of more people being involved. At this time, it looks like it might just be the one person.
After the shooting happened, I guess what was the protocol? Did first responders go to several bars to make sure people were okay? I guess what did y'all do after the shooting?
Yeah, the initial response was in any active shooter response, it's to respond directly to the threat itself, the immediate threat, and that was done within a very short period of time in this incident. After that, first aid was rendered to the many victims, and obviously first responders had a pretty busy evening tonight, but it was a county-wide request for assistance, so we had assistance from a lot of different jurisdictions in the area.
What's your message to the community after an event like this?
First is anybody with information, please give us a call at that dedicated line, or they can always call 333 COPS as well for additional information. But Dayton is a very safe area. The downtown Dayton is a very safe area. This is extremely unusual, obviously, for any community, let alone Dayton in our Oregon district. This is unheard of and very sad. It's a very tragic evening, and we have a lot of resources dedicated to take care of the victims' families, as well as identify any other people who might have been involved, or obviously the public will be very interested to know what the motivation might have been for such a horrific incident as this, and we're anxious to discover that as well.
This is in an area called the Oregon District. I understand it's an arts and an entertainment district, and yep. we heard the assistant police chief there say this is very safe, this downtown is very safe, that this is unheard of.
Looking into the background of this area, Christy's been described as this thriving arts and entertainment district on a Saturday night. As you can imagine, it would be packed with people. There are various restaurants and bars in that area. It's an area that had recently experienced this urban rebirth or regrowth. So what we've been seeing here is police essentially concentrate and focus on this scene here, as we hear from the police authorities, that they were initially called there to an active shooter situation, and now can confirm at least 9 people dead in addition to the shooter. as well as 16 people who have been taken to area hospitals where at this point their condition is unknown. The main focus right now, of course, now that the scene has been secured, is to try to establish a motive and to see exactly what has led to one of the nation's now latest shooting incidents here. It really does, the process and the procedure certainly does mirror what we witnessed in El Paso less than a day ago, where police initially responded. Once they were able to secure the scene, now we're essentially turning this active shooter situation now into an active homicide investigation, and that includes turning to federal authorities. We're told the FBI is already on scene. And then one more thing that also resembles what we unfortunately witnessed take place in Texas just a little while ago is now this push for information. You just heard from one of the police officials there on the ground now pleading with the public that if they saw anything, potentially shot any video of the situation there, to call that number that you see on the lower portion of your screen here, because they're essentially now trying to piece this investigation together, and now a very active scene that still continues after shots were fired in a very popular part of Dayton, Ohio at about 1 o'clock this morning. Christy.
All right.